who's feeling the same as me? It's like it's coming to the end of the week. I'm feeling a little bit like casual today. You guys on with that? Yes. I woke up and I was just like, I'm not sure I want to work today. I literally felt that this morning. I thought, I'm not sure. So I just want to know who else is out there right now. You're like, I'm not sure I even wanted to come to this live this morning. You better not say that. But you get what I'm saying? Like, anybody else feel like that? Like it feels like you've been going, going, going. Yes? Yes? Anybody else big time? Thank you, Jeanette, for letting Darby, Heather, Aaron. Aaron's like forever. I feel like I've been going forever. Rebecca, Jeanette. Okay, so he's like, no, I definitely am. I'm here. I'm ready to go. So good. Okay, so it's okay to have a human moment, right? It's okay to have a human moment. And so often we make our human moments wrong. And so what happens is we start to beat ourselves up, or even worse, we beat the people up around us. I feel like I'm all like even disheveled here. That we start to beat up the people around us as well for not showing up perfect. Can we just take a moment of forgiveness? Yes. Forgiveness over ourselves, forgiveness over our friends, forgiveness over like people that we love that are maybe not showing up perfect, or they're having a human moment, or maybe they snapped at you or whatever, right? It's like, just like forgive the human moment. Let's put it there, not allow it to stop our commitments from creating the results that we want. So here's the thing. I was going to be jumping on with my good friend Joe DeSena. And as my assistant Suzanne said to me this morning, she goes, I feel like, what'd you say?
The kids made the play date without asking.
The kids made the play date without asking our parents, our assistants. And so we cross linked some wrong dates, times, whatever. And so we're seeing if we can get Joe on tomorrow because he has a huge board meeting this morning. So I will not disappoint though, because I was like, oh, then I've got the space to teach you guys this thing. So first and foremost, I want to share with you um, what was happening 4 weeks ago online. And by the way, if you're not an entrepreneur, this also affects. It also affects. You can actually go live. It also affects like your friendships in your family. Okay, and so what was happening 4 weeks ago is not happening now. About 3.5 weeks ago, there was a shift, and I have some thoughts on why the shift happened. And it happened like in people's minds. And the shift has actually caused people to slow down. Okay. And so, and almost, I would say, accept whatever's happening in their life. Anybody see this? It looks like, I don't know if the word's complacency, that doesn't feel like the right word for it. It looks more like a lack of urgency. Has anybody felt a lack of urgency in yourself over the last 3 weeks? Just a lack of urgency? It's unbelievable. I have the benefit of training and coaching thousands of entrepreneurs, and a good handful of them really closely. And I have been watching across platforms and platforms and platforms as our clients have been, out there helping people and making opportunities for people to jump in their products and programs and things like that. And what worked before is not working now. Do you guys get that? Because there's been a mental shift. And somebody put uncertainty. I actually don't even think it's uncertainty. I think what's happened is we've gotten used to being in our leggings and our running shoes and our hats and our casuals in our house. And no different than when you started dating somebody that you loved, you maybe put in a little bit more effort, and then you started to back off. You know what I mean? Like they weren't as exciting anymore. I hate to say it that way, but you get what I'm saying. Like you were trying to get them. And so if you shift on that, like I'm not trying to get that person anymore. What it looks like now is I'm not trying to get anywhere. Even though mentally I might be sitting down and doing goals and aspirations, and some of you guys are doing vision boards, and or you're putting up KPIs, which are just goals. But like there's this kind of even around the people around you, there's this kind of yes, I'm committed to that, but are we? Have you guys seen it yet? Am I articulating it well enough? Have you guys seen it? It's freaking everywhere. It's everywhere. I cut a video for Joe DeSena from Spartan Races on this because I think he's seeing it everywhere too. And there is this again, complacency isn't the word. It's almost like we're caught in a rift and we're just kind of going downstream when we need to be swimming upstream, not going downstream. And upstream is where our goals are. Upstream is where the relationship we want is. Upstream is where the finances are. And so I'm obsessed with getting more money in your pocket because money touches everything you love, right? Again, do you guys know I'm going to Puerto Rico, right? So I'm on all these WhatsApp groups and Signal. My friend John Lee Dumas has me in a Signal group that's great. And anyway, long story short is like I'm watching people that want to get a doctor's appointment there. And it's like, oh, go to this concierge doctor. Well, a concierge doctor costs a good amount of money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been going to a functional medicine doctor for a while that doesn't accept medical, and it is almost always like $600 or $700 for the visit. Almost always, it just seems to be that amount. And so, without money, whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur, without money, life is pretty tough, isn't it? It's pretty tough without money. And I know we'd like to play this game like it's not all about the money, but what if it is? What if we stopped saying stuff like that? Because that's a way we unhook ourselves. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? That's a way that we unhook ourselves. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a quick hot seat, and then I'm going to show you why things have shifted and why you might be frustrated with someone you love in your household because they're not showing up. Or maybe you're frustrated with yourself because you're not showing up, or maybe you're an entrepreneur out there and you're really trying to make a difference and you're ambitious. Who my entrepreneurs put an E in the chat, right? You're ambitious and you want to go after it, but you're finding that people have a lag. And so I'm going to show you how to get that lag out. Okay? I'm going to show you how to get that lag out. Sound good? Yes? Okay, so let's hot seat somebody right now. Jeanette, do you want me to hot seat you? You were quick, girl. You just put her hand up right when I saw her.
Hello. So my question is, being stuck in that rift.
If you can put her up with me. So
Hi.
good. Okay, so why can't I hear her? Uh-oh. I think I
hello.
just did something to my computer. How come I can't hear her for some reason?
Hi. Hello. Testing.
Nope, shoot there. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I can't hear you up there. I can't see you up there anymore. Okay, so Jeanette, tell me, what's your question?
My question is, being stuck in that rift and going downstream. If for me, it's both I don't want to make excuses, but at the moment it is the environment and the people. So at the moment, I'm in such a comfortable position.
Go ahead.
I feel like I can't get out of it. What are some quick ways that I can?
Out of the rift?
Yeah.
Hunger. So everybody do this exercise. Think about something that you want really badly right now. Okay, think about something you really like there. And so I had a private client stop by last night because of this rift. It's like, think about something you want, that's your target. People don't look at their goals as targets. It's a target you got to hit, right? And so you got to hit that target. What makes you got to hit that target? You have to be connected with the cost of not hitting it. This is what creates the runway. Runway is a timestamp. Without this timestamp, you're stuck in the rift. Without that timestamp, you're stuck. Do you guys get that? You're stuck in the rift. And so what you have to look at, so I have a money target by the time I'm 50 years old, which is a few years away, but it's still, I can see the runway. And the money stamp is big enough. And I have a reason for that. And that reason also creates the runway. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a massive reason for that. I have a personal reason for that. I have a business legacy reason for that, like with our team. So it's like, and everything takes more effort than you think. Has anybody noticed that? Everything takes more effort than we think, right? And so when we look at this, the fuel, the rocket fuel is effort. And nobody likes to believe that because everybody thinks they're putting in a lot of effort. Thank you. Right? Everybody thinks putting a lot, but I just actually sent this to our team this morning. I don't know if I said this to you guys yesterday, but I said it to you guys because I want our team at Hardcore Business to be financially free. So whether they're a janitor, an accountant, an assistant, a marketing director, a marketing assistant, a copywriter, whatever, I want everybody to be financially free. But I don't want them to depend on me to be financially free. Do you know what I mean? Like they're the ones that push the levers on whether or not they get incentives, bonuses, raises, whatever. They're the ones who create that. My executive assistant stepped into the role she's in. She got a really good raise, right? But that's because of who she was before that role. Do you know what I mean? It was who she was before that role. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So she pushed on the right levers. That's what happened for her. Now, what she does with that money, to multiply it comes down to effort. And when our target is not strong enough and we're like, well, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to live in the world? That's not a strong enough target. So I never said I want to live in Puerto Rico. I never, ever said that. Okay, so I said I wanted to live in California when I was a little girl. I was like, I want to live in California. I want to go to UCLA. It was like this whole California dreaming thing from Vancouver, rainy Vancouver, Canada to here. That was a big like, yeah, right? So, but my vision for that, let me say this, my vision, I don't know. This is just a Shandaism. This doesn't make it true. I think your visions start to be so much bigger than you. Like moving to California was a 16-year-old's vision for me. At my age now, it would really implode my life I think it would implode my life to have a vision just for me. You know what I'm saying? And so my vision for Puerto Rico was connected with this.
Yes.
And I really think it took me a long time to be comfortable with setting money goals because I felt guilty, shameful, like I was a bad person. Because every personal development book I read, I don't know, there was something in the communities, the spiritual communities, that I felt like a crapola person for going after the money. Now I understand that was one of the best things I ever did for my life and the people around me, because of being generous. And so I'm going to propose today, as we go through today's training, that everybody get a little obsessed with this and connect it to something. So I have this big audacious money goal that's connected to Ash, it's connected to Zach, it's connected to Ash and Shanda's future, it's connected to the Hardcore Business team, it's connected to my personal legacy in business. You see what I'm saying? And honestly, the one that it least affects is actually Zach, because I want my son to go build his own. Do you know what I mean? I want him to go build his own. And so that comes to a vision, right? So now you're saying you're getting caught in the rift, so the effort's getting messed up. And the effort's getting messed up because you might be busy, but, this is why I was saying that with the team Financial Freedom. I sent a video to them with Ed Millett this morning, and basically he said, everybody's caught in this idea of multiple streams of income. Like a millionaire has multiple streams of income, and that's not true. And it's like the game telephone where you're sitting in a circle and I whisper to you and the whisper was, by the time they get around, it is unbelievable how much the middle class has been taught the wrong things. And then they spread it like a viral truth. Okay, do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes? Okay, so you could get out. I would suggest you get out of the middle class. I suggest everybody get obsessed with a money goal and get out of the middle class. And that money goal doesn't mean you have to earn all that cash. You need to earn a certain amount, live on less, and multiply it. Okay. And so I'm going to stop there. But, it is a lie. And by the way, I'm going to say this too. If you are a corporate executive and you're making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, you'll almost always give that advice too. Y'all have 401ks and IRAs and drive a BMW or a Lexus. Okay. And even though that's higher than a middle class, and even though they might have millions of dollars or $1 million because their house is worth something, or they've got some cash and some stocks, I don't call that really a millionaire, because I don't think $1 million is enough. Do you know what? I don't think it's enough. And so we got to set our goals bigger, and it's not going to be earned. It's going to be because you're in the right room. Because the smart idea, like cryptocurrency, and right, it dumped. But the guys that were winning in the room, my meeting, I had to jump off yesterday. We spent maybe 30 minutes resetting up some things, and I'm off to the races again. Do you know what I mean? And so it's like who's in the room? Because most people playing crypto are not winning. You see what I'm saying? And then many are winning. And unfortunately, many people are learning from people who have the jargon down, but they're not winning. Or maybe they are a little bit, but you don't know really what they're profiting. Okay. And so I'm a really big fan on getting in the right rooms. I will pay a lot of money to be in the right rooms. And so will a lot of the people that you guys follow online that really are creating the results. And by the way, 1 million followers online does not mean that somebody has a lot of money. And I hate to make it about money, but I'm going to say it is at this point. And so the effort gets wrecked because the cost of not hitting this target isn't strong enough. And so this is why they say when your target goes up,
Yes.
when your goal goes up, then what happens is you start to realize the cost of not getting that, it starts to go up. So it's almost like we're afraid, it's counterintuitive. We're afraid to set a big goal because we haven't hit the small ones. Guys, follow me, yes or no? Am I making sense here? Yes or no? Go in the chat. Where it's counterintuitive. And so the counterintuitive, let's call that a pattern of a certain income bracket. And then they speak it as if it's truth and viral it out, right? So the bigger the goal, the better. Because what happens is you first get the butterflies, like you just met somebody that you're going to fall in love with, right? So you get the butterflies of nerves and like, oh my gosh, I hope they like me. And you get all of that. And then what happens is that you get into committed action. You make a commitment, right? And what happens when people create big goals, they get the butterflies and they don't know how to interpret them. And so what happens is they pull out, they sabotage, they get afraid, they put their running shoes on and they leave that relationship with that goal. And I'm going to say, stay in it, commit, because the butterflies go away. You start to get used to putting in the effort to create that target. And then it's like, what is the cost of me not doing this? And that cost is kind of a next step. Like you start, as you build this relationship with this big target, which can happen over 1 to 3 weeks, and you start to get comfortable, the butterflies go away, right? You guys, it's just like a relationship with someone you first meet. You know, in a couple weeks, the butterflies, they subside. And then you start to notice what's working and what's not working, right? That's when you start to develop your cost mentality. What is the cost of me not being in a relationship with this person? What is the cost of me not being in a relationship with this big goal? If you can just remember that and give yourself like a 2 to 3 week window where you keep playing and flirting with the idea of your big goal, then as your butterflies and your fear starts to subside, move into the minute that door opens, move into what is the cost of me not creating this result in my life? And that cost will create a timestamp for you.
Got it.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because without the timestamp, you won't put in the effort. And timestamp is like, I need to create this by 50, right? I need to have a baby by whatever age. I need to, you know what I mean? Like I need to lose weight because my high school reunion is next month, you know, whatever, like that. Without that timestamp, it doesn't work. And so people can't understand why they don't hit the big goals, but they hit the student, like the high school reunion. It's only because they're not studying the pattern. Everybody can hack this. The smartest people are not at the top. You know why the people look smart at the top? Because they're in the rooms. And success is 100% connected to who you know and how you interpret information, which I just told you how to interpret information. If you know where you're going and there's a timestamp on it that's natural for you, then what happens is you will get connected with your cost of not having it because you won't want to let it go because the timestamp holds you in. And then what happens is you start to put in massive effort. Most people don't get to the massive effort part because they got scared in the butterflies. Got it?
Got it.
Okay,
I'll go flirting with my goal then.
Yes, start flirting with your goal, girl. So good. Awesome. Okay. We're gonna shift gears. You guys ready to rock and roll today? Yes? Somebody need to take a picture of that? Somebody need to take a picture of that so you've got it? Right? I'm gonna flip the chart, I'm gonna flip the chart, I'm gonna flip the chart. I see people taking pictures. I'm gonna flip the chart. Okay, I'm flipping the chart. All right. Okay, so today could be a really big day for you. And the reason why I say that is because there has been a huge shift in the world. And I'll give you a story. Well, I have a client that hopped over yesterday and she was crushing it in business. Everything was going great. And then she hit, that skid mark where all of a sudden things just started to not work, right? They just, and I love that she's walking through this and she's coming out the other end now, because, I was sharing with her, when you're down on the mat, right? When you're down and out and you're down on the mat, and I actually just gave this coaching to somebody else on Instagram this morning that is in this challenge, right? And I'm like, when you're on the mat, there's nothing wrong with you. When you're on the mat, there's nothing wrong with you, meaning you're laid out. It's the fact that when you get off the mat, you keep getting back up, you keep getting back up, you keep getting back up. That is the reason why somebody wants to be your husband, your wife, your work with you. I don't trust anybody that sits in the room and says, oh yeah, I'm so great, everything's so good, everything I touch works. And immediately I don't trust that person. Anybody else with me? Yes or no? Right? Do you trust the person that seems to have it all together all the time? No. And especially in today's world, years ago when we all started getting social media out, we actually really loved, there was a time where we wanted to see perfection. And then we all got screwed up trying to be that perfect relationship, that perfect, woman, that perfect man, the perfect abs, right? We all tried to be that, and everybody curated their social media content, and everybody got professional pictures for everything. And now it's not like that, right? Now you look kind of funky when you get professional pictures done. It's kind of like, what are you trying to prove? Because the world's gone into this space of they want real. So reality TV shows came on, they're kind of addicting. And then what happened was social media stopped being curated and people really like it real, right? Talk about reels. You know what I mean? They like it real. They like to see who you are. So they like to see the legging mentality, right? They want to see, who are you? What's up? And they want to see a little splash of, perfect. You guys see what I'm saying? They want a little, and when I say perfect, I mean success. The idea that we think success is. So over the last 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, just in that time frame, there has been a massive shift. And I've been calling it the COVID coma. And I've just been calling it, you guys on this, if you've been watching us this month, we've been going for 15, 18 days, whatever it is. We've been going live all week, right? We've been just all month, because we're halfway through the year. And halfway through the year should signify a little effort, signify a little, okay, am I really where I want to be right now? That's off, by the way, Giselle, where I really want to be right now. And so what's happened, and what I was sharing with my client, is I said, the reason why nothing's really working is because people need to pivot. We're back to this word that we were at the beginning of COVID. And I said, when COVID hit, about 2 months in, after we all kind of put the mask back on ourselves, and it's kind of like the people in the room always win. They just always win because they know each other, they share things with each other, and they always win. That's why you want to study people that are winning, not that just have 1 million followers on Instagram. Okay, I think it was Frank Kern that said, it was like a year ago or a year and a half ago. Somebody's like, how are you one of the best marketers online when you have nobody on your social media? It's like, last time I checked, I couldn't take my followers to the bank. That was his response. Do you know what I mean? It's like, last time I checked, I couldn't take my followers to the bank. So everybody's trying to get famous while there's a bunch of people getting rich. And I'd say get on the bandwagon of people getting rich. Forget about becoming famous unless it's time to become famous. So there's a time to become famous. I'm not going to talk about that here, right? There's a time where you press on more of the book writing, the TV, there's a time where you push on that and it skyrockets, it amplifies. But everybody wants to go to fame without actually having the wealth to pay the right people to make the fame work. Because just getting on CNN doesn't get you fame. And I've literally, I cannot tell you how many people have come to me along the years. Oh my God, I don't have my site set up. I'm going on Oprah, and nothing happens because they have nobody in their court. They haven't done the sweat equity to become rich. So the sweat equity you put in to become rich is you getting off the mat and getting up a million times. So if you're in this moment right now, where you're getting off the mat, you're wiping your shoulders off, you're getting back into the game, that is why you get rich. Can we say hell yeah right now? Like, that is why you get rich. Okay, it is not because you had an Oprah moment. Okay, it's because of who you are inside, and you have gone through hell and back. You've built a company and had to fire everybody. Horrible moments, right? You've made a bunch of money, or you bought a house and it went into foreclosure. So if you're walking through a moment like this, let's call it a mat moment, where you're on the mat and you're like, doing the ugly cry, this is not a bad thing. Can you get back up and leave the shame and the guilt on the mat? If you can, you will win. I don't know anybody in the room that hasn't had a bunch of those moments or is going through a moment like that right now. Okay, so the fact that you're on the mat, face down, ugly cry, does not mean that you're a loser. Okay, it does not mean that you're a loser. And there are many people right now that have built something extraordinary that is in the room. They're in the room with the people that you need to be in the room with, and they're going through a mat moment. Okay, and nobody makes them a loser. Why? Because they've gotten off the mat a million times. You're going to get off the mat again. So the question is that a client actually messaged me yesterday, and she goes, I went through your leadership program. She's actually a friend of mine too. She goes, I went through HCL, and she said, I didn't double my income. Is there something wrong with me? And I said, did you make it a target? Because I know this girl, and she probably could have tripled her income if she made it a target. So a lot of times we don't set clear targets. Do you see what I'm saying? We're just kind of, like, my experience of her is she kind of, and I don't know because I've talked to her, right? But my experience is that, like, I'd be willing to bet she didn't make it a target because she graduated the class, and you can't graduate that class unless you hit your target. So I guarantee you she didn't make it a target, and it's a blind spot for her because she just thought it would somehow just happen to her. That's the COVID coma. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Whatever income level you're at, whatever, that's the COVID coma. It's like, I'm a little disorientated. Like, why didn't my relationship not work? I'm a little, why did they cheat on me? The signs were all there. Do you know what I mean? How did I lose my house? Or like, or you're doing fine. You could be doing totally fine and be like, I'm a little bored. Okay, but that boredom has come from a lack of target from you. Get what I'm saying? So here's what you got to do with this COVID coma, because it's everywhere. And I would almost bet it's in you too. I noticed it was in me, and I was like, wow, like, I am negotiating my target. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, can I tell you something? I'm writing a book. I've done 2 chapters. I'm supposed to have it done by the end of September. Okay. And so I have 6 appointments with my writer. I think it's 6 or 7 next month. And I'm doing 2 chapters twice a week. So I'm doing 4 chapters a week. And I can tell you, every part of me wants to not write that book. Like, I want to write that book. You guys, I know you guys, you can see this. I want to show you something real. Like, I want to write that book. Like, it's in me, and I'm excited to put it out. I'm more excited about training courses around it than actually writing the book, right? And so I'm like obsessed with it, but there's a break in my obsession because I don't want to really do it. My effort is broken. So I have to get connected to my cost of not doing it, which means for me, I like if the cost is like, okay, I don't keep my word, that is important to me because it's my reputation. So that is important to me. I don't want to fail in front of the hardcore team. I don't want to not keep my word in front of the hardcore team, you know, so that they're so as I'm talking it right now, I'm realizing, I'm building it. Is this helping you guys? I want to show you authentically what it looks like, because sometimes I think y'all think that you sit down at a big boardroom table and make these big decisions and just go and it all comes together. And it's just not the case. It's you're flirting with your target, right? You're flirting. I'm going to tell you, all of you guys can make money today or by the end of the weekend if you let this get in you and you stop multitasking, right? And if you're on social media right now, share this message. Like if you're on social media right now, go ahead and share this. Forward this live to a couple people and share it. Like, leaders are evangelists, and evangelists never win alone. They never do. I have a friend, Kevin Nation, that trains all of his people to become evangelists. And the reason why he does that is because he can tell whether or not somebody's going to win. The most generous people are at the top. And they don't become generous when they're at the top. They're generous along the way. Why? They build rooms for themselves. They're constantly building rooms for themselves. So I wish Joe DeSena would have been on with me live today. I would have been able to show you. Hopefully he's going to be on tomorrow. But he came to one of our events and spoke. He was ripping people out of the audience to like mentally to go after their goals, right? And he gave his email out, his personal email out to everybody in the room. And Colleen, his right hand, is sitting there going, God, Joe, and he answers every single email. I know people who have a $500,000 business who are too busy to even sit down and have a meeting. This is a guy running a huge company, Spartan Races, and growing massively and going through his own shit in growing it, because it's not easy, going through his own leadership issues. Do you know what I mean? Of letting go of control, not letting go of control, bringing in a venture capital firm. Do I like them? I want to run it this way. They want, you know what I mean? This is some real shit. And he gives his email out to all these people. And guess what? They all emailed him. And he answered all their emails. And I love y'all, but none of you guys ever send one email or one social media post. You send 10 with 16 voice notes. Do you get what I'm saying? And Joe freaking does it. And he's my hero for that, because that's a level of generosity that is off the charts, right? So if you're on social media, share this right now, because literally that's what evangelists do. You guys on Zoom can't do that in your Facebook group. You can't do that, right? You could tag some people in a Facebook group, but you can't share it. But take that moment and share it, right? If you're on the other platforms, be evangelistic, because that's how you get into the rooms. You want to operate like that all the time. So this pivot is, you got to pivot your message. You got to pivot your message literally constantly. So I'll give you an example on this Rising Tide Challenge. This whole month, we've been showing people how to be the tide, rise the boats around you. Don't complain about what's not working. If you're complaining about it, I got a leadership breakdown, right? So either you're not making a decision somewhere, hiring somebody, firing somebody, being in a relationship, not being so you're either complaining because you're not making a decision, got it, or you're complaining because you don't know how to solve it. But that is a leadership break. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's always connected with the lack of decision. Lack of decision tells me how fast you hit your targets, and also tell me how quick you can pivot. How quick can you make a decision? So in this Rising Tide Challenge, when we started, I was really kind of not connected to the name Rising Tide. You guys in VIP know this. I shared this with you. And so I wasn't connected with the name Rising Tide. And so I had to keep pivoting my own message internally so I could lead it. So if I'm in a conversation with my husband and I don't know where I'm going, it could become a train wreck. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? If I don't know what I'm trying to create, it could become a train wreck. If I'm not connected to where I want to go in my business, it could become a train wreck. If I am working towards something and the communication isn't landing, I got to keep pivoting the message. This is everything. You got to keep pivoting your message constantly right now. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, do not set the course for a webinar, a challenge, anything. right? We're in this challenge. I made an offer the first 2 weeks. I kept raising the price for our leadership program. I'm getting messages. Told you I was going to get messages. The people want to jump in at the old price. It is what it is, right? And then I shifted yesterday and made a new offer. How many of you guys want me to show you how to make millions of dollars? How many of you guys would love me to show you how to make millions of dollars? That was the offer yesterday, without having to do any paid advertisement. You see what I'm saying? You go to joinlistpowernow.com, not even now, joinlistpower.com, right? It literally was that. But people don't move because they're in a COVID coma. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Because what happens is the people around you guys and us, have you ever prayed for something, an opportunity lands right in your lap, you don't take action? Anybody? Yes or no? Honest, like yes or no. You're like, I really want this house. And then all of a sudden a real estate agent sits at a dinner table with you and says, oh my gosh, Kim, I have that house. And it's only XYZ amount of money. And you're like, ooh, well, I don't have my house up for sale yet. And I really didn't do what it took to be able to put the money in the bank, to be able to put the down payment. What happens is, Kim, I don't mean you, right? But it's like Kim goes, ooh, I gotta stop. I gotta stop, because what am I not? I'm not ready. Get what I'm saying? I'm not ready. You guys get that? Yes? So you cannot do this anymore. I want all of you guys to become obsessed with the pivot, whatever you're working on. Get obsessed with the pivot. You're talking to someone and it's not going so well. It's not going, but you can't even know if it's not going so well if you don't know where you're going, if you don't got a target, right? I want everybody to get obsessed. If you're in a conversation, be like, what's my intention here? What's my target here? I want everybody to get highly conscious. Can you see how this could help? Let me apply this to making money. Say you're a business owner, or you want to be a business owner, or you work for a company. If you work for a company, you need to figure out, what does the owner of that company want to create? Where's their breakdown? And then you need to pivot and be like, how do I make that easier for them? And then over communicate to them. Hey, I heard you when you said this. I went and I did this, and I went and I did this. And well, have you ever thought about this? And now what do they feel? They feel seen. They feel heard. You are now on the radar. You're getting a raise. If you're an entrepreneur, how many lives do you have set up between now and the end of the week? Right? Are you going live twice a day, or are you embarrassed because when you go live, nobody engages? Who cares if they don't engage? It doesn't matter. Go live every single day, twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever. Just go. Do you know how Grant Cardone crushed it? I think it was 5 posts a day. I guarantee you many of those posts had 0 comments. Very quickly, it grows people's attention. Eventually, you will hit a message that creates a pivot in someone. But if you don't lead the pivot, you're in trouble. On this Rising Tide Challenge, I've had to pivot about every 48 hours. Every 48 hours. Some of you guys have started at the beginning. Let me show you what it looked like. Rising Tide, 21 days strong. We're going to spend a week of productivity. We're going to spend a week on making money. That's the week we're on now. This week has already been productivity and making money. I'm focusing today and tomorrow on making money. We're going to end on Saturday with a sermon Saturday. Rex Crane's going to come. I'm going to introduce him. I'm going to drive to the airport, and I'm going to jump on my plane. I'm heading out to Puerto Rico. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, notice all those pivots that are happening in that moment, right? There's like massive amounts of pivots. If you want to succeed more, you got to get super good at this pivot and stop making it wrong. If you keep setting a course and you think that course is going to get to a destination, I'm going to tell you that's not going to happen, and it never was. It's only because of the COVID coma that I'm even teaching this, because it didn't even dawn on me to teach this. The reason why people make it is they pivot constantly. And the successful people were doing it before COVID ever hit. When COVID hit, yes, it was devastating. No matter what your belief systems are around it. When it hit, it was devastating, and it's devastated a lot of people. And the challenge with that is that a bunch of people really skyrocketed. We were one of them. Our profit margins started going up to 44%, 45%, 40%. They skyrocketed. You know what I'm saying? But first I had to get over the $200,000 in refunds in a couple of weeks, the 87 events that we canceled, all the things I thought I was doing as I set the destination, all my dreams, all my visions. But here's the thing, the target never changes. This is a non-negotiable. It never changes. You can take clock off. It never changes. The target always stays the same. The course to the destination pivots constantly. Am I going into John Wayne Airport? Am I going into New York? Am I going into Austin? Just so you know, my course to Puerto Rico has changed multiple times. Multiple times. I was leaving out of Carlsbad, then I was leaving out of Orange County, then I might have been going out of Chino. I'm not kidding you. My assistant's like, when are you leaving? And I'm like, I don't really know. I'm working it out. I'll let you know the day before I go, if that's what it takes, because you've got to pivot, right? And so once you get used to the pivot, everything works. So if you're an entrepreneur, I'm going to talk to you for a second right now. It is your job to employ people. You have to get a big vision. And I want you to think about employing people this year if you're not employing people yet. And I want you to identify who you're employing, because it is your responsibility to actually help the economy get lifted. Do you get that? It's actually your responsibility. You are the ones that hire people. Everybody's like, I hate corporate America and I'm an entrepreneur. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? Corporate America is amazing. It's amazing because it's just a role of an entrepreneur that created something. And there's a group of people who feel that calling to create that result. Hopefully you're working in a company that you feel a calling towards. Do you see what I'm saying? If you are an employee, hopefully you're working for a company that you're like, I understand the vision of this company. If you don't understand the vision of this company, go find it. Go find it. It's your responsibility. Are you in the right place? Because it's not their responsibility. We need to take back our power. And we need to realize that we run the ship and nobody else runs the ship. Do you guys hear me? Yes or no? We run the ship. Nobody else runs the ship. So now when you look at this, you go, you are going to be a pivot maniac. A pivot maniac. Okay, pivot maniac. You should just write that and put it on the wall. Because if you don't pivot fast, money loves speed, then you're in trouble. So instead of starting something and saying, it doesn't work. I did this webinar and it doesn't work. I just had a client message me go, I was selling something around this product and it doesn't work. And I'm like, so pivot, but keep the same target. The minute you let go of your target is the minute that you get back on that mat and nobody's hiring you. Nobody's following you. Nobody's hiring you. Your kids aren't listening to you because they keep seeing you go on that mat and stay on that mat. And so you hit the mat, you get back up, you pivot. You hit the mat, you get back up, you pivot. Now, if you are an entrepreneur or you're an employee that wants to take control of your financial future, then you need to listen to me right now. It is so important. You guys can tell me if you want me to open this up tomorrow. That is, if Joe isn't here, because my intention is to get Joe on. So I'm going to recommend that you 100% focus on building a list. Text message is important and email is important. I just told a client to cancel her social media manager. Why? Because she's not making enough money on it. She has a big email and good text message right now, and she's got $140,000 in debt. I know we can get her out of that $140,000 in debt within 45 days. I set the plan for her yesterday. She'll be done in 45 days. Okay, she'll be done. I know she'll be done. I've seen her do it over and over and over again. I just had to set the course, and she knows how to pivot on that course because she knows what her target is. Do you get what I'm saying? And there's a timestamp of 45 days. She'll probably hit it before then. We'll use text message and email to be able to bring in the cash flow. Now, once she's got that cash flow, she can bring that social media manager back on and start with a target plan versus I just have a social media manager to do posts. Do you guys get what I'm saying? It doesn't have a target. It's just chasing money and throwing things down the toilet. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Yes. So you set these courses. You cannot just hear of a way to make money and then just randomly, faithfully, I'm all about faith, but you can't just randomly, faithfully just go after it. You got to go, what's the target? And are you hitting the target on a daily basis? And the shorter your runway of tracking, the more likely you're going to be successful. So pick daily targets. Pick daily targets. So now, who wants to make money by the end of the weekend? Put me in the chat. Who wants to make money by the end of the weekend? Okay. So what dollar amount? What dollar amount do you want to make? What dollar amount do you want to make? And I will coach you tomorrow around how to find, you got to find people to make money. Okay. If you're an employee, you got to find people in your organization who are the decision makers. And you need to target them. You need to target them. You need to find out what's going on. If you're an entrepreneur, you need people. You got traffic, you got no problem. You got no traffic, you got a problem. Got a massive problem. That's why I teach this. Yesterday, I made an opportunity for you guys to jump in and work with me where I teach you how to do that. July 6th, 7th, and 8th. July 6th, 7th, and 8th. I've got a studio in Puerto Rico. I'm going to go in and for 3 days, I'm going to train our clients on how to build a text and email list with no ad spend, no hidden costs, no any of that. And in anywhere between 45 and 90 days, what will they have? Liftoff. You must secure your effort towards stuff that's going to make you money. You must secure your effort towards things that are going to make your money. So I'm going to ask you guys to drop the link right now in case anybody wants to jump in. So here's the thing. If you're in a situation where you don't know how to build a text and email list, I'm going to recommend you go to Join List Power now, or joinlistpower.com. I was going to put the word now, joinlistpower.com. And here's what I want to share with you. In 45 to 60 to 90 days, that all depends on your effort. How much time do you have to focus on this? I will show you how to build a text and email list and how to monetize that. I will show you why it's more important for you to create reoccurring offers right now, because you need to walk through this COVID coma. And the COVID coma, I fear, is going to get deeper. Okay, it's going to get deeper because as things shift in the economy, as people have spouses or people that are getting laid off from their jobs, or God forbid, so many people don't want to go back to work because they're making too much money on the system. That is scarier than shit to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, that's like, and some of you guys might be in this spot, but I don't want to be married to someone who controls all the purse strings. That doesn't work for me. Because even if I don't know how to run the purse strings, and something happens to them, it is my responsibility to know how to move the levers. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So even if you're in a situation where you've got a spouse that controls all the cash and they don't want you to be a part of it, I guarantee you that's probably only because they have fear around it. And they have fear for good reason. They want to make sure that you're all right. But what if you got in the game of contribution and your heart turned over to generosity instead of bitterness? And you say, you know what? In 45 to 90 days, I'm going to start increasing our household income. That would be a vision. That would be a great target. So instead of making them wrong, like they've done something wrong, listen, they're the ones out there, they're controlling the money because they did something right. And now it's up to you to get into the game of contribution and pour into the pot. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Yes? So normally I would train this program where I give you the home study program, which I'm going to give to you on that link below. I would give it to you for $2,700, let's call it $3,000, $2,797. I've been selling it for that for years without me doing an implementation workshop. The implementation workshop is because I know that many people who's bought a home study program and never done anything with it. I have a bunch right now. Great training. I have Chalene Johnson. I have so many great programs, but unless somebody walks you through accountability of doing them, often you don't do them all. Am I right? Yes. So with this list power training, I'm going to show you how to build a text message list and an email list, but I'm going to do an implementation workshop, which means I will go through every single module with you over 2.5 days in an intensive July 6th, 7th, and 8th. And no, there's not recordings. And the reason why there's not recordings is because it's time for you to have a timestamp on creating this result. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you've got to do it. You have to get off the mat and say, I'm going to be there and I will show you how to get free. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you how to get free. Now, because people often can't figure out the how, or they're afraid to jump in because you've done things in the past and you haven't followed through. Now, remember, I've created a security process for you where I give you the home study program, but you're not going to study that. You're going to use that as an insurance policy. I'm going to train you on all the modules on July 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm going to train them all live, but I'm going to give you the home study program with lifetime access to review anything. You will do that, I know, because I started doing this at the beginning of COVID, where I started training people because I thought, you know what, I can sell you a home study program all day long that will get you free. But if you won't do it, then we're both in trouble. I don't create a client that's a raving fan because you don't have a success story off of it. And you don't create the financial freedom you want. See what I'm saying? So there's a leadership aspect that I added to this one, which is vision. I have a leadership program that's 3 parts. I'm going to give you 1 part, and this part will unhook you and unleash you. So if who's got energy issues right now, feeling a little lost, feeling a little bit like I'm in the COVID coma and I'm trying to like get rid of the confusion so I can get certain about what I'm doing, that's what vision will do for you. It's a 3-day workshop. Honest to God, this is one of the most important things you can do for your life. Get yourself unhooked emotionally and clarity and certainty, and mix it with making money. And you put yourself in a really good spot. Go to joinlistpower.com, grab a hold of that training right now. You've got about $10,000 worth of training that I've added to that. And here's what I'm going to do. Who needs to know about messaging? Who needs to know about messaging? Put M in the chat. Put M. Okay, so we've been talking about this for a few days now. And that is that we have a phenomenal copywriter. By the way, most copywriters don't know shit about marketing. Hate to tell you that, but they don't. She knows a lot about marketing. She is an incredible copywriter. She is part of the Heartcore team. She is responsible for all the emails that you guys have been seeing come out, the text messages that you guys have been seeing come out. Have they been extraordinary? Yes or no? Let's just give her some love for a second. Tell her how great they were. Just put, yes, they've been great. Yes, they've been great. So she is responsible for writing all of that. So she's going to show you how do you create a message. And this isn't on the page. So just know I'm going to give it to you today. Okay, it's not on the page, but I'm going to give it to you today. If you jump in, like in the next hour and a half, I'll gift it to you. We're going to show you how to take a message that can impact millions. Okay, my friend Joe DeSena never had a vision to create to help millions of people. It wasn't until he set a target to help people succeed, which I want you to think about. What's the group of people that you want to help succeed? Joe's like, I'm going to help this group to succeed. And it was a hobby. Some of you guys who are not entrepreneurs, I'm speaking to you right now. And some of you guys who have been entrepreneurs have been treating your business like a hobby. It's time for you to go all in. Hear what I'm saying? And so he had this vision, like, I'm going to take this hobby, I'm going to help people with it. And then he caught his next vision. See, clarity comes from taking action. He got his next vision. And he got a vision to help 1 million people. Well, to help 1 million people is, yes, it's about effort, but it is so much about when you speak a message, do people get viral on it? Do they get really attracted to it? Well, that has everything to do with the state of your heart. So Jennifer's going to do a copy and message workshop that's going to show you how do you articulate yourself, which by the way is leadership. How do you articulate yourself and how do you write in a way, how do you speak in a way so that your copy, your message can impact millions? Who's excited about that? That is not something we normally ever offer anything like this, but it's a huge problem. The reason why a lot of people have a hard time figuring out their avatar or their niche is because they don't actually know where the target is and where they're going. And they kind of have a general idea that they can help everybody. You hear what I'm saying? But I need you to get specific. See, millionaires aren't created by multiple streams of income. They're created with going all in on a message. They're created by going all in, all eggs in one basket, which I know is so counterintuitive because you've been taught to not put your eggs in one basket, haven't you? You've been taught that. And all, like, I didn't get here by not putting my eggs in all one basket. And you don't lose when you keep pivoting. But you need to know what's the message that I need to pivot, because we've had to pivot about every 48 hours. Even like our CEO of the company's like, wow, I've noticed you guys pivoted a lot. I'm like, yeah, because there's a COVID coma out there. And I need to keep coming in and moving people emotionally with a new message. So how would you guys like to be the first class that we teach how we actually did this? I have a training set up for our hardcore business clients to show them, because they're going to fail if I don't teach them what we just did. So we want to offer that with today's offer. So if you go to joinlistpower.com, you'll get a 3-day workshop, which is a leadership workshop on how to unleash yourself. It's called Vision. I'll show you how on July 6th, 7th, and 8th, you can stay in your homes. We're going to stream. It's only going to be you guys, right? It's only going to be the people who jumped into List Power, right? And so we're going to train you guys on how to actually build an email and text message list and how to monetize that. I will also teach you how to identify what message you should be pushing on. But Jennifer is going to come up behind me and she's going to show you how to do this pivoting in your messaging so that you impact millions. Listen, you're going to put in effort no matter what. Am I right? You haven't stopped. You keep getting off the mat, right? You're going to put in the effort. But why don't we put in the effort together in the right spot? I know what I'm doing. I'm certain that if you get hooked into this and see it, you'll be able to run the rest of your year really well. I want to show you how to have a lot of buyers, which is in List Power, on whatever it is that you want to do. You need people to buy whatever it is that you want to sell, whether it's your product or somebody else's product. If you're in network marketing, this List Power is perfect for you. If you are a teacher, List Power is, I have every single one of my son's teachers, by the way, is now a client and no longer a teacher at a school, because they're making way more money as someone that we taught our List Power program to and showed them how to monetize it than they ever made in the schools. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're a teacher, if you're a financial advisor, if you're a real estate executive or real estate broker or salesperson, if you are a coach, consultant, right? If you have any advice that you want to sell, we can show you how to do it right here. If you're an employee and you realize I'm not making enough money to ever be able to multiply my income, then just trust yourself and prioritize yourself right now. Go to joinlistpower.com. Let me show you how you don't even have to be a traditional entrepreneur to make a good living. But here's what I want to end on. You, my friend, are responsible for your income and nobody else is. And so you got to ask yourself, what side of the tracks do you want to live on? I remember coming to Los Angeles as a young girl, and I was in my first limousine with my dad. And I remember sitting there, and if you've ever been to Los Angeles, it's a concrete jungle. Am I right? It's a concrete jungle in almost all of Los Angeles. I don't know why everybody wants to go there. It's congested. It's a concrete jungle. It's overpass after overpass after overpass, but it does have Disneyland. And so, and by the way, don't go to Disneyland without doing the VIP pass. There's another reason why you need to make some good money. It's expensive to do, but you stand in no lines. That's the only way you should be doing Disneyland. So I come to Los Angeles, and I'm from Vancouver, Canada, in this limousine, never been inside of a limousine. And I'm driving down the street with my dad, and he's on the other side with my stepmom. And I'm looking at the concrete jungle and the homeless people. And I'm not kidding you. I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, the world looks so much better from the inside of a limousine. Do you know, I wasn't looking at beautiful flowers. I wasn't looking at, beautiful estate homes. I was looking at homeless people underneath overpasses in the concrete jungle. But my innocence was so not connected to shame or guilt about making money. It was so just looking out into the world, and it looked more vibrant, looked like it had more colors. It just was a happier place to be, even though what I was looking at wasn't necessarily happy. And my dad looked at me and he said, honey, don't ever forget that. I'm standing here today as a 40-something-year-old woman. I have never forgotten that. And that was the day that I decided that I didn't want to be on that side of the tracks. I wanted to be on this side of the tracks. And I've spent my entire life getting off the mat and getting back up and figuring out what does it take to create financial freedom. And I've had to forget everything that I've ever been taught. I've had to forget the multiple streams of income, don't put your eggs in all in one basket. I don't need to be an author to be a success. I don't need credibility to make money. All of that's a lie. You need a list, and you need to have an offer that list of people that they want, that's going to change their life. And you need to have the leadership to be able to follow through, which is why I gave you vision. And now for today only, we've given you an opportunity to do a copy workshop with us. Listen, if you have purchased things from us in the past and you've never done this copy workshop, just the copy workshop, I want to train you how to think. Just the copy workshop alone, you could spend $3,000 on. If you could make $3,000 off that copy workshop, how much would it be worth to you to know how to message and pivot every 48 hours with the new message? Like everybody's like, I need to know what my message is. I'm like, your message is going to change about every 2 days, especially right now. It's a lie. There's not just one message. Your message is going to change as people's environment changes. And we are living in a world today globally that things are changing every single day. And it is about every 48 hours, 2 days, that you must change your message. And so don't you want to master this? That alone, even if you didn't even do the list building program, would be worth $3,000. Of course, it's not $3,000. You have a great deal on there today. Go grab it. Join listpower.com. I will see you on the other side. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We will wrap down the end of this entire month challenge. So good, guys. Love you. Can you guys drop the links in the group? Talk to you soon. See you.